G'day guys, what's going on? Welcome back to another video. My name is Justin. In today's upload I'm going to be doing a mid to long term review on the Cade Pro Reef S2 that's behind me. I've had the tank for about 7.5 months now, so I thought I'd give my long term thoughts on it and opinions. Let you guys know if I think it was worth the price I paid. And yeah, hopefully if you were thinking about purchasing the tank, I can give you a bit more information and maybe persuade you to get it, or if you don't want to get it after watching the video. So yeah, I'll get into the basic sort of overview of the tank and the specs before I get into my thoughts on the pros and cons on it. I do apologise for the audio in advance. Just using the in-camera audio. I don't have a lav mic on me as yet, and I will be checking my phone occasionally as I've got some notes. Don't want to miss anything, and I want to provide all the accurate info. So without further ado, I'll take it away. So I'll start off with some specs on the tank. It is a 4x2x2 foot aquarium with a little bit of extra width at the back, which houses the auto top-up reservoir. It spans the full length of the display. It's around 120 US gallons, the display, which is about 490 litres or so, and then the sump is another, I guess, 50 or 60 litres. So you get a rough idea of the volume. So it is a larger display, which gives you a bit more room to house bigger fish, more coral, bigger rockworks, or bigger aquascapes, I should say, and things like that. It features a full aluminium stand, which the tank sits flush on, and glass doors. The tank, the cabinet has doors on either side that open up, so you can get sort of full access to the sump and the cabinet, which is a really nice touch. It does come with all your plumbing, which is I believe manufactured by King. I think they are the biggest plumbing accessories manufacturer in the aquarium hobby. So really nice plumbing that comes with the tank. You do get a chiller line and as well as a manifold. So some really nice additions there. Basically, in terms of the glass, it is a Starfire glass panel, 12mm glass on either side, front and sides. I do believe the back is two pieces of glass wedged together between the display and the top-up reservoir. Not sure on the specs on the back glass. It does have a dual intake weir, top and bottom. The bottom one, I guess, sucks in stuff that's accumulating on the bottom, I presume. And then obviously the top weir. And it does have a single return nozzle on the right side of the tank. It does come with a fully assembled neck collar, which is a really nice touch, and a sort of control panel with I think 18 or 24 individual controllable switches, on-off switches, which is also a really nice touch. You do get two filter sock or filter cup holders with a small refugium section, a sump compartment, a media section, and obviously your return section in the sump. So those are some pretty nice touches. So the tank is designed to obviously sit flush on the stand, which is a pretty nice addition for me. Personally, I like my tanks to sit flush on the stand. I don't like them to overhang. And the bottom of the tank is wide, so if you are running a bare bottom tank, everything is going to be wide at the bottom, so obviously it might potentially will look a bit better. So now I'll talk a little bit about my experience with the tank over the last 7 months. If I've had any hiccups with it, any really bad issues that sort of stand out, and just my overall experience. And I can report back that there has been no real glaring issues with the tank. It's been real smooth sailing in terms of just setting it up and sort of forgetting it. and I've had a pretty good experience thus far. Some key things that stand out for me personally on the tank is the clarity of the glass. I've seen a lot of aquariums over the years. I've kept a lot of different tanks. I've seen a lot of Starfire glass, had a lot of Starfire glass. They're all manufactured in different factories, and I believe there is a different quality in all of them. I can tell you guys, the Cade tanks have some of the clearest Starfire glass that I've ever seen. Does feature clear silicon, which is a preference of mine. I know a lot of people in the reefing hobby like black silicon. I don't. So I was chasing a tank with clear silicon. It was one of the selling points for me. And yeah, so it is clear, the glass. Clarity, perfect. Another one of the pros for me has been the top-up reservoir. Now, I'm coming from a Red Sea that I know a lot of you will know has an included top-up reservoir with a sort of small tank that sits on top of the sump. I don't want to bash on another brand too much in this video, but I did have a lot of issues with my previous top-up reservoir on the Red Sea, and I'm happy to report that I've had 0 issues so far with the Cade top-up reservoir. It's been an absolute treat over the last 7 months. I top up the reservoir every 10 to 12 days. I'm not sure on the volume of it. I think it might be 35, 40 litres. I'll have to double check that. But it's been pretty amazing. Just runs on a float valve, obviously, and once it drops on the return, it just fills it back up. So that's been really great. In terms of the size of the aquarium and filling it out, I haven't really found any issues with that. You know, obviously it gave me a lot more space to work with, so I did appreciate the extra width with the 4x2x2. And in terms of getting flow around the tank, I do have a massive, not a massive, but it's a J-Better gyre, and I think it's too powerful for this tank. So I don't think flow would be or is going to be an issue if you're considering this tank. So basically, you do get an fully assembled net cover that goes on the top. For me, guys, another massive selling point. I can't tell you guys how many fish I've lost, other hobbies have lost to jumping out of the tank. And it always sucks to come home and find your wrasse or your clownfish or your goby on the floor, and occasionally a tang. And it's one of those things that, it doesn't take too much time, but a lot of people just, can't be bothered making one. And you'll say, yeah, I'll get to it, and it just never gets done. And for me, the fact that they included it is unreal. To do it separately, it's going to take you at least 3 to 4 hours of labour, and 100 to 150 bucks in terms of parts costs if you get a net kit from a aquarium manufacturer. So the fact that they included that was awesome. Obviously, you'd probably pay for it in the price, but nevertheless, it is a great addition and one of the selling points for me. So I do really appreciate that, and I think a lot of other tank manufacturers that have flagship tanks should look into including one. I think it's a really great addition. You also do get a manifold and a control panel, 2 really nice additions that I think sort of pushed the tank over the line for me when it came to deciding what to upgrade to. So it just gives you that extra, I guess, sort of thing that you can work with when you're connecting your reactors and things like that. And then if you are going to use a chiller line included, what more could you sort of want? But yeah, besides that, the tank is I've had it for 7-8 months, but in the grand scheme of things, it's relatively still young. So I won't sort of blabber on too much, but yeah, it's been running sweet. Lots of good things to sort of say about it. I do have a few things, I guess cons I'd like to tell you guys about that I've encountered my experience with the tank. So I'll get into those now. One thing that I forgot to mention under the pros for the tank, and it's a pretty big one, and it was another massive selling point for me, was the pre and post customer service support that was provided by Cade. So big shout out to Adam Dalton and the guys at Cade. Guys, some of the best customer service I've ever received, and that's not just talking about in the aquarium hobby, but as a whole. And yeah, just been unreal. Any questions, queries, any issues, they just got back to me super quick. And there is there's a big online presence on Facebook and obviously in the reefing groups of other people that have Cades and that are really happy to help out if you've got any issues. So if you are thinking about the tank and if you are thinking about buying the tank, just know that you'll have a lot of support around you from other hobbyists, and from the people from Cade as well. So big thumbs up for providing excellent customer service, and yeah. So in regards to the cons for the Cade S2 it's more with the sump that I have a few gripes, and nothing really with the display or the design of the tank, but rather the design and function of some of the compartments of the sump. And it mainly has to do with the refugium chamber. It's just too small, way too small. Yeah, I don't really know what they were thinking with that design, to be honest. You can't really fit much in there, and comparing it to the refugium section on my old tank, it does definitely lose out in this case. So I'm using it to house my heater currently. I think they should have brought the baffle or the divider a bit more forward and sort of halved that section of the sump. But it is what it is. You can't win every sort of thing. So I think if they do a Series 3 Cade, I would like to see the refugium redesigned. I know in the bigger models the refugium is a lot larger, but this is a 4x2x2 tank, so you would think the refugium would be a lot bigger than the one that comes with the tank is. Another sort of thing in the sump is the media section. Me personally, I'm still undecided with how good I think this was of an addition to the sump. I know a lot of people like it, but for me, I find it easy to just put the media in bags in the actual sump and just take them out. I think potentially if that section was cleared, or if that section didn't exist, the refugium could have been larger. And for me, running refugium is pivotal to a successful reef. So I think, yeah, that could be something Cade looks at for the next series. Another thing is the loudness of the overflow. This could be a me thing, probably is. I have sort of had trouble fine-tuning it to get it quite silent. So I'm really still working on it, to be honest. I don't know if you guys can hear it in the back of the video. You probably will be able to. So that's something that I've been working on. But again, it's probably a me thing, but just something to sort of think about. The last con for me, and it was a big one for me personally, and that was that there was no colour options at the time of purchase of this tank. So it was only available in the black. There was no white, no brown, nothing. And I don't know if you guys, if you've watched my other videos, but I personally prefer white cabinets. And it almost turned me against buying the tank, but it had so many other great features that it brought me back. Now at the time of recording this video, they have announced that, they've announced and shown them off that there will be white cabinets available for this tank, I think in a few months' time. Not sure on the price or anything, but pretty disappointing that it wasn't available at launch. I think it was a big miss for them, to be honest. Apparently it had something to do with the way the stand was anodized or something like that. I'm not 100% sure on the details, but obviously it's been done now. So yeah, no color options at the time of purchase. So that was a bit of a shame. I would have gladly paid more for a white cabinet, but it is what it is. Now onto the tank, and do I think it was worth the cost? Now, in Australia, the tank retails for around $3,200 to $3,500 Aussie. I'm not sure how much it goes for in the States, in the UK, in Europe, etc. But here it is. It's not a cheap tank. It's definitely not a cheap tank. You are paying a pretty decent price, but you compare what you're getting with the tank. You compare the quality of the glass, the aluminium frame, some of the features it comes with. For me personally, I think it was worth the cost that it has and that I paid. And I think, if you're looking at other brands and sort of what they offer, it's all going to be around the same price, and you do get a bit more with the Cade, to be completely honest. And once you start comparing the features of other brands, you guys will see that. So I'm happy with the tank. 7 months, going strong. I've had a few hiccups in terms of what's been in the tank and the corals and stuff, but in terms of how the tank has run, it's run itself really, with very minimal input from me, which is why I've lost a few corals and stuff, and which is what I'll get into later. But the tank really has run itself with no issues, no leaks or anything like that. So thumbs up, well done from Cade. Alright guys, so that's going to wrap up my 7 to 8 month review on the Cade Pro Reef S2 1200 reef tank. If you made it this far guys, I really do appreciate it. I know it's been a while since I've made a video like this. I will get into the nitty gritty details in a few follow-up videos on the actual tank and the inhabitants and how they've been doing. But I really hope you sort of get something out of this video, and if you're thinking of buying one, hopefully I provided you with a bit more information and a little insight into the tank and sort of how I've been sort of running it. And really appreciate you guys watching the video, and subscribe.